From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, the ultimate adventure itself, life, and this is the second episode of our new experiment-turned-show, Subjective Wars, which, by being the second episode, has already surpassed the only ForceCenter series that had one episode, which was my show, The Data Pit, which, if I had more time in life, would have kept going, but I didn't have time in life to do what I wanted to do with that series. So, we're already setting records. I'm Ken Napzok.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
And I'm Jennifer Landa.
And we have got a non-Star Wars topic today. Go check out the first episode, which was Ewoks versus Gungans. It got, spirited. Jen showed up with research and stats and really took it to us on Gungans versus Ewoks, and the Ewoks came out ahead. Again, this is a show, Subjective Wars. It's fun in spirit. Yeah, the idea of debating things on the internet, that's pretty old, but this is the Force-centered take on actually having a discussion about things that we might love, and we're just forcing ourselves to choose one a little bit more. Today, because we are celebrating Boxing Day, without a doubt, happy Boxing Day to all of you out there, and post-Christmas and post-holiday crunch as we race towards New Year's, we realize you might have some leftovers, and you might have some leftover dessert. So today's Subjective Wars is cake versus pie. Gut reactions, Joseph.
Oh, that's I was going to say that is a great tag for cake versus pie. Gut reaction. My entire body feels very strongly. There's nothing wrong with cake. I like cake every once in a while, but I'm a pie human. A strong pie human. I don't entirely know why. So maybe I'll be able to unearth exactly why I'm so fervently pro pie. And cake's lovely. And it's one of those things that I don't feel entirely comfortable talking about in public for fear of angering the cake hordes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we already, the biggest Force-Center disagreement ever on air was pizza toppings, right? So this is, wait till we get to that. Jen, gut reactions to cake or pie?
Initially, I was very concerned about choosing one, and then it became clear. There is nothing like a good piece of pie. It's very likely you can have mediocre cake. Even if you get a mediocre pie, it's probably going to taste okay. But bad cake is like you might actually spit it out and throw it in the trash. You don't even finish it. That's how bad it is.
Okay, this is fascinating. Even though I might be guiding us through this discussion, I'm in this battle, and I was coming into this going, well, the easy answer is pie. The easy answer is pie. And if it comes down to it on these shows that all three of us agree with one thing, then that's what it is. But I'm gonna play the other side here because Jen, you kind of just hit something. Cake, it's about the frosting, and the frosting's too much. And sometimes by the time you even get to the cake part, you're like, I'm done. Too much sugar, crashing. But you bring out a slice of cake at a reception, at a gathering, at a party, at a whatever. Joy is found. And hope springs eternal that every piece of cake is going to deliver on its promise. Where pie, as much as I love it, and we'll get into the weeds on this right away, as much as I love pie, which I think has a lot of advantages, the crust takes me out of it. I'm a leave the crust behind person often, and I think I've been disappointed by pie more than I have with cake. But we'll start there, and I'll let you two dive into it. Jen, do you have charts, graphs, research on cake and or pie?
Well, here's what I'm going to say, is that I believe that cake is more of a thing that you would find at a fancy restaurant. They serve it at weddings. You're right. It's more celebratory. But pie also is can be a comforting thing. If you get a good, and here's the thing about cake, you can have a delicious cake and it's out of this world, life-changing. But like I said, if I have a bad piece of birthday cake, I once served that here. I spent a lot of money on a fancy birthday cake for my kid, and it was so sweet. Even the kids were like, right?
I need to get some sleep tonight.
Yeah, but there's nothing that a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream can't solve if you pair it with a bad piece of pie. It can save the whole pie. You can't do that with a cake.
Okay,
Ice cream is basically pie frosting. You can put it right on top. You can soak it into the crust, and then you're good to go.
I really like that you both brought that in there. Is it fair? Is it fair to introduce ice cream late in the game, so to speak, on this debate? There's no equivalent for cake. There's no. I mean, you could do cake. You could do cake and ice cream, by the way, but it's not treated the same way as cake, as ice cream and pie.
Because ice cream just makes cake a soggy mess. It turns it into a paste, a soup, right?
Yeah.
Whereas that is one of the advantages of pie is it can accessorize with ice cream just fine. It will, in fact, often improve the pie.
Don't you think the ice cream joint's a cake, and it's not unlike Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney singing Ebony and Ivory? It's just a lesson for us that it all is the same. It rolls into the same bowl. Every bite is the same when you combine them. Versus pie has a little bit more rigidity to it. No, that's probably.
I feel anytime you're having a food discussion, and within the first 5 or 6 minutes, you retreat to the dad joke argument of it's all ending up the same place. You're in trouble.
Fair.
But
fair.
You make a good point though, because and then now I might be getting a little bit swayed because I feel like ice cream cake is its own category.
Oh yeah.
You cannot go wrong with an ice cream cake. It's why I come back to it year after year for birthdays because I can count on it. Baskin Robbins, the grocery store, wherever, it's gonna be good. Even like a week old. I'm still digging into it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, please, Ken, go for it.
I just was, is it, I would love to know, Jen, you're so right. Cake is generally associated with celebration. That's fair. Pie is comfort. Pie can be breakfast. Pie can be a late night snack. We're not entering cheesecake into the fight, but cheesecake versus pie might even be more of a fair fight. Like, we're almost doing separate things here, but Jen, I kick it back to you quick, and then Joseph jump back in. But like with your kids, has there ever been joy in their eyes when you said, "We got pie"?
Never. That's why now I'm starting to go to the Cakeville because
it's the dessert of adultdom.
It is yes. When you're a kid and you have there is no such thing as bad cake. Like even my daughter with the one that all the other kids were like, no, my daughter still kept eating it because it's cake. She loves that show. Is it cake? She's obsessed.
Hosted by my old buddy Mikey Day. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
There should be a show just called It's Pie and there's no mystery and we just look at different pies. That would be a better show in my opinion.
They don't like the crust. My kids don't like the crust on the pie.
I think our discussion is getting at something that is essential to me and my preference for pie is that pie can vary wildly. Even just a cherry pie can be like fresh cherries, like almost a health food. So like really good, really well made crust, freshly made, not too buttery or whatever. Or it can be just like this absolute fake. This was made, in a can 50 years ago to survive an apocalypse. Like you can range that way.
Prepper's pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's variation, but I feel like cake is often trotted out for kids' parties, for a sad office party, because there's no mystery. It's a cake.
The monthly birthdays.
Yeah, the monthly birthdays. The Owen's been here for 2 years. And you're like, here's a sheet cake, and like all those Office Space jokes. I would cake.
Yep. God, yeah.
Cakes offer less mystery. A pie is dangerous. It's exciting. You don't know what's in there. You don't know what you're gonna get. Oh, boysenberry. Okay, is it good? Is it good boysenberry? I don't know. I just feel like pies are more exciting and cakes are safe.
I love the pie argument of I'm a rebel, Dottie. I'm a cherry pie. It's what here's the part of the discussion here, and is there a moment where let me pull it back. Jen, you said something about your kids, and I brought it up. Your kids are always gonna be happy, and there's never a bad slice of cake as a kid. In 8th grade, my friend Gavin, rest in peace, Gavin, he had a birthday party in 8th grade, and they pulled out the hamburger cake. You're in the store and you're like, Mom, can we get the cake that looks like a hamburger?
Wow.
And his stepdad pulled it out, and we're right there, and oh my God, the slumber party ended early. all of us were on the floor grabbing our stomachs. It was too much. And that was like an early sign of adulthood had showed up, whereas like cake done me wrong. And I know I'm arguing for cake and I'm against it. But to you, Joseph, was there a moment where pie climbed the charts higher than cake? Did you have this kind of moment? Was it a freshman in college, sipping coffee, having pie at a diner, writing a script or something?
No, it was Twin Peaks and adulthood. It was with coffee too, because I still have lots of texture issues. There are some things that I don't want to eat or touch or look at because of texture. I can usually handle, but like I think I tried subpar pie, because you don't give kids pie. You're right, but I think my grandma tried to give me some like pie, and there's probably like a cherry, stone, a pit in it or something, and it was all mushy and gross, and I didn't know what was food and what was slime, and had textural issues, and I ran to the overly safe arms of cake for years. It's like, as long as it wasn't too moist, as long as it didn't get fluid touching it, it was safe texturally. Yeah. And then I was watching, a teen watching my beloved Twin Peaks, and they're eating the coffee and having the cherry pie. And like, I like cherries. I'm going to try this cherry pie. And I realized it was fear. It was fear that was keeping me from pie. So that's when I became a real big pie guy. And then, and then I do for me, it's the sugar thing. Like a really well-made cake is the actual cake can be really great. But you need just the right amount of frosting to give it zing. But more often than not, it's got way too much frosting, and cake is cloying. Whereas I feel like good pie, you still get the sugar, but you get a lot more different flavors, and you get a little bit of fruit and can pretend you're healthy. That was the difference for me is that I don't feel sick eating pie. I often feel sick eating cake.
That's the point. That's a good point.
That's the issue. Yeah. Because here's the thing, with a pie, it's almost like, especially as an adult, you feel less indulgent because you're getting some fruit, like you're saying, boysenberries or cherries, a chicken pot pie, a minced meat pie.
I mean, if we're talking pot pies, I'm in on that.
Yeah, then different pot pies win. Yeah, no problem.
Right. So it's like there's kind of like this hardiness, like I said, the comfort. Oh, I don't want to say healthy, but you do kind of feel like, okay, I'll have a piece of pie. A cake feels so indulgent. It's like if I go to a nice restaurant and have a flourless chocolate cake, it's like,
they bring out the cart, right?
Right. Like, oh my gosh. Remember back in the day when they would bring you like the dessert tray and you saw that giant piece of chocolate cake?
And then
that's
your dad
what
does
I wanted.
Oh, I'm too full. I don't think I can, but I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you bring that dessert tray. You don't want the pie. You want the chocolate cake.
What is cake? I know. This is even more passionate than Ewoks versus Gungans.
What do we believe?
What do we believe? Is there anything to be said for the lies that either of these items bring forth? I think pies can be attached to Americana. The false sense of the past is better. Cake can be a false joy, a connection to childhood. It's a wash in nostalgia in a bad way. Does that work for either of you on any side? Do you have arguments to push past that?
I think the mom and baseball and apple pie thing, that can be a little bit like, okay, keep your politics to yourself, dessert. I just want to eat pie, and I love apple pie. But the whole picture of it, like baking in a window, the old cartoon image of the actual scent of the pie wafting and literally physically picking up a fox or whatever animal, and it drifts. It drifts to the cake in the window. That to me does speak of, we don't have that much money. We have maybe a fruit tree in our own tiny backyard and only enough flour to make this crust, and mom made this. There is a little bit to me of like a sort of a pioneer spirit of that, whereas I think a lot of the power of cake, and I do have to give this to cake, is sculptural. It's structural.
It's an art form.
it's hard to build an amazing 8-tier pie. People don't have 8-layer wedding pies. They should.
See?
But
Yeah.
but cake, in contrast to that sort of like warm homespun, you don't need as much. Cake can go the other way of like, I'm going to show you that I'm an artist. I'm going to go over the top, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like cake is like Lady Gaga's concert at Dodger Stadium. And then like pie is like an acoustic set in the back of a New York club,
Yeah, but see that's like, I wasn't there, but I always tell the story about program director was a big Bruce Springsteen fan, went to see the Ghost of Tom Joad tour, and they show up to the venue. Springsteen comes out, sits down on a chair with a guitar, and says, "None of you applaud, react, or anything until I'm done performing the songs," and that's pie to me. Like you want Clarence play you want Max on the drum, and instead you get everyone shut up until it's done. And I maybe that's.
And then he just ate a pie, right? For like an hour.
Pie.
Wow.
Yeah. But the artistry angle, Jen, you're an artist. You're a creator. You make wonderful magic out of different projects and crafts and everything. Can you appreciate at least the artistry of cake?
I have nothing but respect for cake makers, and I think it's so challenging. I think that's why, like you're saying, immediately I think of the three little kittens who lost their mittens. Their mom was making a pie. Mother kitten was baking a pie, and exactly what you're describing, putting it in the window. You see the steam wafting off.
Yeah,
I have such fond memories of that.
So pie is dangerous, is what we're saying.
Yeah, pie's good. It's edgy. You can according to Shakespeare and many other creators, you can bake your hated villains into pie.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, nobody's ever serving their enemies in cake. Like they're never like, I tricked you into eating your loved ones in this sheet cake. That never happens.
I'll tell you why, because cake is hallowed ground. And no one wants to soil cake with fingers of your enemy.
It's too difficult to bake. It could be too dense. It could be But
a pie, you just snap a crusting on it, and any damn thing could be in there.
Yeah.
You got a crust.
Mystery.
Does the crust get in the way for you, Joseph? It sounds like no.
For pie?
For pie, I eat around the crust most of the time.
I want the crust. I want the crust for balance, but a bad crust can get me, or a crust that I don't like. Like, I don't like them when they're super thick or buttery and where they're really dominating. That to me is a bad pie. Is
Flaky,
when the crust is thick and really kind of rich and buttery to the point where you can't focus on the actual fruit, because the crust is an accent note, right? The crust is the frosting to cake of like, you got to do it right. It's in less is more.
The pie crust it's storage. It's transportation. It's how I get the goodness to me, because I can't just scoop up cherries. If I could, I would. Or banana cream pie. Oh God, I do love banana cream pie. So
good.
But that's kind of the cake of pie.
It is the cake of pie. And I like lemon cake, which is the pie of cakes.
Yeah. Oh, I do like a good lemon cake and a sponge cake. I'm a fan of a good old sponge cake with a little like put the strawberries on that little strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
But that's again, that's a different. We're going to the basics here.
I do also think it's a big flavor profile thing of a lot of people. Their go-to dessert is good, like you're saying, Jennifer, is like it's chocolate. It's chocolate, and pie has no good answer to chocolate. Well, I mean,
chocolate pie is
banana
not
cream pie or chocolate cream pie.
That's true.
That's
good. Possible. But it does again. It's I say it's the cake of pie. It's pushing the definition of pie.
That's true. That's true.
And, so that's why, even if I was, because again, put a banana cream pie in front of my face, I'm done. I'm going to eat it all. But
I have revealed my fruit bias. Yes.
Yeah. I have. I think that's a cheat. If you're trying to convince me pie versus cake, that you're pulling me in. You're tempting me with a cake-like pie, and I think that's why I would still side with cake on that one.
Interesting. What about the kind like that you can go to the market and get the graham cracker crust? I make a yogurt pie with that, and I just put some yogurt, put it in the freezer, and that's a pie.
Good. That's
it's
good.
A pie.
Yeah. Graham cracker crust is good.
Yeah, a lemon meringue pie.
It's accessible. Yeah.
I don't like the meringue. I like the lemon. Whatever that stuff is on top, it tastes like Victorian England. I don't like it. It's just big and bold and gets in the way.
As a child, I suffered through the meringue to get to the lemon. What were you saying? You're not even sure?
Who?
Ken.
Me?
I was just you set me on a meringue. A meringue harangue. I don't know. It was good. Jen, where are you at? You might be the deciding vote here again, which you were last time. But Joseph's not going to move off pie. I'll stand behind cake as an artistry based conveyor of joy. I don't know if that makes any sense. Jen, where are you at right now? Temperature check.
So torn after all this, because if you were like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm going to want cake. Celebration, cake. But if you put them in front of me, a chocolate cake or a crumble apple pie with no ice cream.
No ice cream. To keep it fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose chocolate cake.
You're going to go cake?
But we were talking about pie. There's so many more functions. Chicken pot pie, mincemeat pie, lemon meringue. There's so many different types of pie.
Now you just sound like a nursery rhyme. 4 and 20. I don't know about that.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Titus Andronicus pies, all the good pies.
I love chocolate cake. The mother loaded claim jumper. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that used to be so good.
You remember that? Oh my God, claim jumpers are shutting down everywhere because I think they've contributed to the downfall of America with just portions. Like you want a chicken tender meal, it's going to be 3 meals worth of chicken tenders on your plate, and the cake just drove that home.
I've never had this. What was the mother load? Was it a cake that shot chocolate out of it, or what was it?
6 layers. It was literally this tall a slice.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Because the claim jumper restaurant theme was you're a miner who has your claim for gold and don't you want the mother load? That's what you want. And it was a lot. It was a lot.
Oh, man,
it was a lot.
I missed that.
Yeah. Both good riddance and I miss it. It was a challenge. All right. Joseph, any as we wrap this up here, any final arguments for pie, or have we swayed you?
No, you haven't, because it's subjective. And I do like a good cake from time to time. You can't beat them for making them real tall and putting things on them with fondant. If you can do some fondant pie, that is great. But for me personally, what I put into my body, cherry pie, apple pie, cannot be defeated.
Sounds like you're sticking true to yourself, and I love that. That's what we do at Subjective Wars. Jen, final answer for you to bring in another show from another era. Final answer: cake or pie?
I give up. I'm just gonna give into the dark side. I'm going cake.
Wow. All right. I'm sticking with cake. But here's the thing on Subjective Wars: we all win. Because no matter what you put down in front of us on the table, we're going to eat it and have a good time.
That's right.
Yes.
Now we'll answer, would Ewoks eating pie beat Gungans eating cake in a battle? No.
Then I choose the pie.
Yeah. I do say this. And the Clone Wars, that episode with 3PO planning a party for Padme, does have not enough dessert represented in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think we need that. that. I think we need a Life Day redone, a new holiday special with some Life Day cake in there. Well, there you go. We have decided, but by decided we mean we've just shared what we enjoy about these two things, cake or pie. You, though, listening or watching, can jump into the conversation, comment down below, have fun, celebrate both, share your favorite pie or cake recipes, share your favorite cake or pie disasters. Were you like me in 8th grade on the floor clutching your stomach because a hamburger cake nearly killed you? We want to hear that too. We are having a lot of fun doing this series here. We're almost out of here. You can find us on Twitter at ForceCenter Pod. That's also for Threads and Hive Social if you want to dance over there. We're on Instagram. Facebook page is ForceCenter Podcast. Oh, I forgot that one in the first episode. See? Facebook page. ForceCenter Podcast merch available at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. And you can support us directly at patreon.com/ForceCenter. I can be found at KenNapzok.com or on social media at Ken Napzok. And we're approaching the new year. So I'll let you know what weird little things I'm cooking up. Jen, where can they find you and all of your stories?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube at Jennifer Landa, TikTok at Jennifer Landa 1138. And now I want to make a hamburger ice cream cake for my birthday next year.
Oh,
right. I can't bake, but sounds delightful.
God bless you. Warn everyone. It's a lot. It could be a lot. Joseph, take us home. Where can they find you and your musings on pie and special agents going into Twin Peaks?
That's right. I'm gonna bake a hamburger pie. I don't even know what that is, but the world will weep. Anyway, you can find me on social media at Joseph Scrimshaw is my handle everywhere. I'm spending a lot of time on Blue Sky and Instagram in particular, but you can find me just about everywhere. If you'd like to check out my comedy albums or my short films, buying my comedy albums really helps me make more short films. You can go to my website, josephscrimshaw.com, and find the link to all my comedy albums on Bandcamp and all my other stuff that I do there. Did want to do a special shout out to Alex Damon for very kindly wearing our Speculate Responsibly shirt on one of Star Wars Explained videos and getting some people asking about where to get it. That is available on TeePublic, so check that out there.
Check it out. All right, that is it. We have decided that Cake will win the day, but you get to decide for yourself. So we'll see you next time here on Subjective.